Alright, well, I gotta do something I've been meaning to do for a while, so I might as well show you a video of it. Because I need to gotta do research of everything. I got Infinity Kappas in the back window. I've had an amp hooked up to them before, my Kenwood 4-channel. But I unhooked it for some reason, but I got my Jensen 2-way, or Jensen 2-channel that came in my Civic, and I'm going to hook it up in here and see how much better it sounds. So this is what it sounds like. I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference or not, but this is what it sounds like without the amp.
One record, longest nitty on the beat. Yeah, I think they like me. Better yet, I know.
With no subwoofer.
When I walk through the door, niggas know my crew is certified stars. Better in the front, about 35 cars. Bitches in the back, black beamer coops. Girls like it, girls. Time to recruit. If you got a problem, say it to my face. We can knuckle up anytime, any place. Meet me in the crowd, it's going down. Meet me in the mall, it's going down. Meet me in the club, it's going down. Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down. Meet me in the trail, it's going down. Meet me in the mall, it's going down. Meet me in the...
Well, to hook up these two amps and my crossover, I'm just like pretty much re-hooking up everything in my daily driver. I have my MA audio amp and my crossover on a board. And I put things on a board because if you don't, it slides all around the trunk. Your wires get all slid around. I like everything to stay in one spot, so I usually use a board. So I had to find a bigger board in order to hook up 2 amps in my crossover. So I got like this guy that I sanded down. That's just like I don't know. It's like an old piece of something, some shelf. It ain't nothing special. This ain't my show vehicle or nothing. This is just my driver to work. So this is what I'm going to use to keep it all steady. But yeah, I sand it down. Now I'm going to paint it black. Alright, I'm sorry because it's kind of dark in here. I didn't want to dig out my drop light. But I'm not going to hook up my crossover. Because if I have to hook it up, I'll have to use more of my RCAs, and I kind of want to save my my good double RCAs for my Civic that Roland and M5 Speed gave me. But so I got my board all painted. It looks pretty sweet actually, black, and I got my amps mounted. There's the Jensen. And I got my MA audio over here. Of course, I put my fan back over it because this guy gets pretty hot. And the fan works good to keep it cool. I got 2 distribution blocks going. I got this one down here for my grounds. Stinger one from my good buddies. And I got my... it's like a cheap, I don't know... the hell does that say? I don't know, ETX or something like that. And now I got to run my wires to my distribution blocks, and then after I run all my wires, and then it'll be ready just to go hook up the wires in my car and hook it up to the speakers, of course. But yeah, let me run my wires and I shall be back. Okay, so I got my wires ran, and what I got going on is this is my power distribution block. I'm going to have my power coming in from up here and come from my battery. It's going to go into the side, and then I got 2 8 gauges coming out. It's going to be 1 4 gauge in, 2 8 gauges coming out. I got my red wire running up here, right here into my MA audio amp, my bass amp, and then the purplish black wire there runs up and around, and boom, right there to my Jensen amp I'm going to use for my mids. And then over here I got my stinger cap, and it's going to have 4 gauge going in for my ground from my trunk into here, and then it's got ground going up here, going around, boom, right there to my amp. Right there, ground and my power. Now I used a red and like a black on this one was because I had an 8 gauge red cable that was about perfect to go from here to here, and I didn't have to chop it much. And I try to use what wires I can use and save wires, because if you looked at the price of wires and amp kits lately, they ain't free and they ain't cheap. So I try to use what I got if I can. And on my grounds I used just the black purple wires, because I had a real long one. I actually cut some more wire because I'm going to solder it to my 12s, but it's got the other side here, boom, going out, and around here kind of stretches around my fan, and boom, going into my Jensen amp. And this little black cord here is for my fan. Since I got a third ground on this distribution block, I went ahead and ran my little black cord in there. And my power wire, the red wire for my fan, is going to go into, I'm going to splice into my remote on my sub amplifier. So that way when you turn the amp on, the remote wire kicks on and tells the fan to kick on. If you have it spliced into the power and the ground, it runs all the time, because the fan doesn't have a remote wire to tell it when to turn on and off. But if you're not hooking up a fan and you're just hooking up 2 amps, you don't have to worry about this. You just need 2 distribution blocks. Here's one, 2 powers coming out, 2 grounds coming out. And now all I gotta do is go hook up some speakers, and I'm good to go. Okay, I gotta make this really quick so I don't go over my 10-minute limit, but I forgot to show you in the last little segment, I had to run my RCAs. I got little kicker RCAs up there, the silver ones, running from the output of that amp around here and to the input of my sub amp. And then I took my my remote wire, that blue wire, spliced it together to make 2 remote wires coming out into that amp, into this amp. And then I just hooked up those RCAs, hooked my remotes up, my speaker wires in, and hooked my Infinity Kappas up. It's pretty dark, can't really see it. Hooked them up at 2 ohms and bridged it going into this amp. So that's pretty much how you do it. I can't show you video because I gotta hurry up, but you'll definitely see a demo of this in my next video. But yep, on this amp, green means go. On this amp, blue means good to go. That sound you hear is the fan running. Watching later videos for a demo. Sounds pretty good. 99 cents.